Far off on the other side of the gate, there lay a lake. A mysterious pale light was softly dancing over the lakefront. Brilliant reflection on the surface made the view extremely dreamy. Looks like there's a sign. How convenient. The words, "The Lake of Tear," was written on a sign along with another mysterious passage. Tears are the memories of the past?
So it means this lake represents tears, which contains someone's memories.
Does that mean I'll get my memories back if I drink the water here? I eagerly approached the lake, but I unconsciously came to a stop before the water. If I get my memories back...
Listen, this is a warning. Forgotten memories should be left the way it is. If you persist in forcing open the lid, tragedies such as that you have never known will undoubtedly befall you.
Your desire to know yourself is not something anyone can deny. But as for the memories you've already lost, you should go with the flow. If you regain your memory, you're likely to regret it.
I relived those memories in my mind. The memories I'd lost were perhaps far from perfect. I silently peeked into the glittering, rippling water.
Are you scared, Amelie?
Yeah, a little. I honestly admitted that there was fear in my heart. Thereupon, Joker leaned in and, surprisingly, sweetly whispered into my ear.
Amelie, I'm here for you if you're scared. So, you can rely on me like you did at the Wanda Biblion.
That was... The events on that day flashed through my mind, naturally dyeing my cheeks red. I was so startled by those eerie books that I leapt into his arms. I admit that was scary, but that was a completely different situation. Joker gazed at me with a smirk as I stuttered out an excuse.
Amelie, I'd actually really like it if you depended on me more, you know?
I'll consider it. I immediately looked away, trying to hide the fact that I was blushing. Depend on you, huh? Joker was real casual about it, but what he said made my heart race. On the other hand, it felt almost like I was being swayed by his actions, which made me a bit irritated as well, though. My attention had now been redirected to him, rather than the seed of anxiety in my heart. I had almost even completely forgotten about it. All of a sudden, he reached out to me. While puzzled as to what he was doing, he slid his hand around my back and tightly squeezed me in his arms. What's wrong, Joker? There was no longer any distance between us. I let out a shrill voice. I was worried that he'd realize how my heart was pounding against my chest.
We feel the same way right now. We came here willing to accept whatever we learned from your lost memories.
Joker faintly tightened his arms around me as he whispered into my ear.
I thought you might feel a little better knowing your companion was this close.
His warmth was so soothing. My entire body was enfolded in his passion. There was no time to feel worried when he held me like this. Even at a time like this, it was a rather sweet sensation. I almost even felt comfortable leaving everything in his hands.
Amelie.
Joker said my name again. I slightly lifted up my head and gazed into his eyes, waiting for his next words. He smiled back at me, just like he always does. I saw a gentle yet determined hue in his vivid eyes. The next words that flowed from his thin, almost provocatively smirking lips were,
I love you.
It was an unbelievably sudden love confession. I almost thought he was joking for a moment, but the gaze in his eyes were enough to know that he wasn't. Joker's smile deepened as he watched me freeze over.
You don't need to think about anything else. Just think about me, Amelie.
Almost the moment he finished saying that, before I could even say another word, Joker easily lifted me off the ground, with his arms still wrapped around me. Wait, I'm still not ready! And he leapt into the lake of tear without giving it a second thought. I was submerged deep within the cool water before I could even think straight. He was so forceful that I didn't even have a second to hesitate. We slowly sunk into the depths of the lake, still wrapped in each other's arms. My sealed memories were slowly released, one by one, the further I descended. What shined the brightest, though, was a dear memory of the distant past. A certain day, a certain time, a certain place. I was a young child, and I had just encountered a lost boy.
I came from the world from within the mirror.
He was quite mysterious. He seemed to know so much about some things, yet so little of other things that I thought everyone knew. He used to tell me fantastic stories of a world unknown to me. That's right. How did I ever forget such a thing? Before long, I couldn't stop thinking about that boy. I never wanted to be apart from him. I could still hear his voice.
I really like you, Emily.
The boy said with a radiant smile.
I was all alone in the other world inside the mirror. I was so lonely, so bored.
Is that why you came here?
Yeah, I thought I'd be able to make a friend if I came to this world. Emily, I'm glad I met you. It was so much fun talking to someone.
Even then, we felt the same way in our hearts. We liked each other so much. We had so much fun talking. That was why I taught that boy my favorite song. Its melody. It was the same melody that Joker always hummed to himself. A significant amount of time had not gone by since we met, before that person showed up.
I never expected that one of my characters would leave Wonderland without my permission.
I trembled in fear and anxiety. The mysterious man suddenly appeared, seething with rage. He was no ordinary man. Unlike how things were now, I was unable to control myself from trembling before him. But the boy, without saying a word, he stood out in front of me, trying to protect me. His rose eyes did not give in to fear as he glared right back at the spinner of tales. He then told the boy,
You have committed a great sin, an unforgivable sin. It wouldn't even be a surprise if you were stripped of your right to be a character in the story. Your name and role are of no use anymore. From now on, you are but a mere criminal. You are the Joker.
The spinner of tales ran his quill through the air, splashing magical ink about. The silent boy was swallowed in the jet black ink, dyeing him completely black. And when the ink finally melted into thin air, the young boy was no longer there. I screamed in utter shock and lashed out at the spinner of tales, forgetting the existence of fear itself.
What did you do with him? Give him back!
I cannot give him back to you.
The spinner of tales vanished, leaving me with those few words. Then, now all alone,
Huh? What was I doing here again?
I completely lost my memories of the spinner of tales and my dear friend. My past self disappeared, and I could now see my current self standing in her place, all alone in my room. Then, a sorrowful memory of my past. That's right, my parents. I lost both of my loving parents. The sorrow of my past tore my heart in half. I was all alone, crying, unable to hold back my tears, yet the sadness never went away. I had exhausted my tears and lost my voice. That was when I heard the voice.
Are you sad?
Huh?
You should just become Alice, if the sorrow is too much to bear.
It was the spinner of tales who appeared before me. Who are you? It was then that my sealed memories flew right open. I vividly remembered everything that had happened with that boy, as if it were yesterday. It was so clear to me now that I wondered how I could have forgotten in the first place. You're that guy from...
Do you remember?
The spinner of tales spoke to me in a detached, yet kind voice. He hasn't changed a bit since we first met.
Come to Wonderland with me. You can forget all your pain there.
I can... forget?
Yes. No more tears will be shed. And that boy you really liked, Joker, is in Wonderland.
I can meet him again?
Yes, you can. I promise I'll make that happen.
My dear friend, the boy I liked so much was waiting for me in Wonderland?
Wonderland's a fun place, a never-ending tale of happiness.
He held out a hand to me. His invitation sounded so generous and wonderful to me then. I remembered everything. I gave in to the temptation. I acted on my own will. I'll be Alice. As I replied in a hoarse tone, the spinner of tales took me by the hand.
Welcome to Wonderland, Alice.
And then, he dragged me into the large mirror in my bedroom.
Amelie!
I could hear someone calling my name. I opened my eyes to find Joker peering down at me with a worried tint in his eyes.
Amelie, are you okay?
Joker. I was confused for a moment, unable to figure out why he was holding me in his arms. Gazing back into his eyes naturally soothed my heart, helping me remember what happened. I fell into the lake with Joker, and I finally got my memories back. I was still a bit hazy, so I couldn't remember everything clearly yet though, but I knew that the memories would gradually return if I just gave it some time. I blankly stared up at Joker, who was holding me up. I'm fine. Even though these memories still hurt deep down, I forced a smile on my face. Joker looked so worried that I just wanted him to feel better.
Really?
He cracked a smile of relief, even though he still seemed worried. The look on his face reminded me of how he looked as a kid. He looked just like that little boy who told me how much he liked me. Our memories had returned, but these memories were shocking to the both of us. With a range of emotions deep within our hearts, we silently gazed into each other's eyes.
Hey everybody! Long time no see. It's Al.
And the Queen of Hearts. Today it will be the two of us, right?
I'll do my best along with your highness.
Alas, the next page is... Oh! I think this scene is even more private than the last one.
Huh? What is it, your highness?
No! Don't! Close your eyes, Al!
Okay.
Don't open your eyes until I tell you to, alright?
Alright, your highness.
I think they're done now.
What happened, your highness?
Nothing, Al.
Hmm?